A lot has changed since I last shared this side of my life. We moved, I'm expecting another baby, and my days look a lot different. But the work of the home has become more important to me, not less. And so this is me coming back to that. So as some of you may have seen or remember the last videos I posted back in August, I had stepped into a new season of just feeling led to go back into the realm of being a fitness coach. And I can honestly say that I learned so much from that season. And one of the things that I ultimately learned was that that was not the path that God was calling me to. And so I just felt like God was just redirecting me to focus my attention on the home, on my marriage, just focusing on caring for our little one and preparing for what he had ahead. So I just wanted to take some time to talk to you guys about the things that have changed. So we did recently move states back in September. We ended up relocating to Georgia, which is where I actually lived prior to meeting my husband and moving to Florida. So we both just felt led and called by the Lord to just start fresh with our family in a new place. And while this wasn't inherently new for me, it was still sort of new for me because there was a lot I haven't discovered out here in Georgia. I'd only been living in Atlanta for about 2 years. So it's definitely far away from where I grew up, which is Washington State. So along with moving, shortly after we found out we were expecting our second baby, and that was just very exciting news and just a flood of emotions that came along with that and just so much excitement. And we actually just recently found out that we're having a baby boy. So we're very excited for little Eliane to be meeting her baby brother very soon, and also her older sister as well. So a lot of things have changed, and just ultimately the direction in which my husband and I have felt led to go has changed. And it's been a mixture of things. It's been fiery trials. It's been, of course, life always is going to present its ups and downs, but it's also just presented moments of clarity, moments to grow closer to one another and closer to the Lord through what we've been going through and experiencing. And ultimately, God has just been showing his grace and his mercy upon us. And it's just been ultimately, it's been a beautiful experience. And we're just super excited for this transition that we're going through, especially with the new year. We're just very hopeful and ultimately in expectation for what the Lord has for us. So with that, the pace of life has been moving a lot differently. I've definitely just slowed down, especially with this pregnancy, early trimesters, just being exhausted. And for those of you mamas who know, like first trimester is definitely something. And, just finding myself getting my energy back in the second trimester, which I'm super grateful for, but just really focusing in on the home. And especially because we moved into a bigger home, it's more for me to take care of and just really take my time and make sure that I'm being a good steward over what the Lord has ultimately blessed us with. So I feel like in the beginning, when I first became a new wife and a new mom, like homemaking, just kind of, I pictured like wearing a maid outfit and with my little duster in my hand and, just making it just seem so aesthetic. And I just quickly realized like homemaking to me is more about just overall stewardship of the home, caring for the family at the utmost of your ability that God has given you. And it's more just an essential part of life. So from baking sourdough bread and trying out new recipes, cooking yummy, delicious dinners and things of that nature, I've just found myself getting into a rhythm and just kind of being anchored in really just settling in this new life that the Lord has blessed me with. I mean, I've only been a wife for a couple of years. I've only been a mom for not even 2 years yet. And so it still feels relatively new to me, but I also just feel the Lord stretching me and molding me and shaping me each and every single day and just helping me to grow more and more as a wife and as a mom. I ultimately just took a step back from trying to make sure everything was just perfect and trying to, cause everything to go in a certain direction and kind of force things in a way, and just really was taught to just rest in this season and just focusing on being grateful and just thankful for what the Lord has blessed us with. So I want to talk a little bit about how my priorities almost completely shifted after having our first baby. And just let me tell you, if if you're a mom and you have children, and especially if you just can recall, I'm sure many of us can, just the first baby that you have and just how you thought life would go before you had your first baby, the reality check was pretty severe and just a little daunting of just realizing, okay, motherhood looks much different than I pictured it would. Daily routines look much different. Preparing meals, keeping up around the house, you honestly realize as a mom how much you do first and foremost. The workload of moms is honestly incomparable, as many of us know. It's just incomparable. You can't compare being a mom to having a 40-hour a week job, an 8-hour shift where you just clock in and clock out. You can multiply that times 2 or 3 every single day, because it's the mom switch, it just doesn't turn off. But, the beautiful thing is God wired us for that. And that's also where his grace comes in. So that's one thing I definitely realized quickly, was that, yes, things definitely need to be done around the house. I would like to keep up with the cleaning tasks as much as possible. Meals need to be made. And I remember just kind of in the beginning, especially, when you're postpartum, you're tired, you're trying to figure out everything, right? You're trying to figure out, this whole motherhood thing. And also I'm a new wife in the same breath. And, how is it possible to get all of this done? I just remember it feeling so overwhelming. And I can just look back and I can just recall how much I have grown since then, and just how much grace is required to be a mom, to be a wife, to be a homemaker. You really have to give yourself grace. You really have to prioritize, okay, maybe I have 10 things around the house that I could do or that need to be done, but let me just pick 2 of the most important things to do today. And just be proud of yourself for those 2 things and not stress about the 8 other things. So it's really so much. And for those of you, maybe you're not mothers yet, but maybe you endeavor to be a mom. And, I just want to speak some wisdom to you, because you're going to have days where it's this is way more than I signed up for. And you're going to have days where you just feel completely overwhelmed. And I just want to tell you and reassure you that giving yourself grace is one of the biggest gifts that you could ever give yourself. It's not grace just to let things slide and be lazy and procrastinate and neglect things that need to be done. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you also have to be able to prioritize your health as a mom, because that's one thing I've noticed is if my health is slipping, if my mental health is slipping, my physical health is slipping, and I'm just trying to keep everybody else afloat, meanwhile I'm sinking, then that's a false balance. And that is a big problem, especially when it comes to just preparing meals. Especially in that first trimester, it's so much easier to just want to be babe, can we just get takeout tonight? I don't feel like cooking. And trust me, there was many days and nights where I did that, because let's be real, first trimester pregnancy is not a joke. And you don't feel like doing things. You just don't have the energy to do things. And there's grace for that as well. I think that's another reason why I'm just so grateful for my energy coming back. It's almost like you're a completely different person. First trimester, I was a different person. And then one day I just woke up in the second trimester and I'm oh, this is actually the person that I need to be right now for my family. Yeah, just choosing to cook and prepare our meals, choosing to cook from scratch, choosing to just pick the highest quality ingredients and just be confident and grateful for what's going into your family's meals. Making bread from scratch, I mean, everything. It feels so good to know that I'm passing down this heritage to our future children as well. And just knowing that they can have an upbringing where they get to be surrounded by fresh bread, fresh meals being made. We're not eating out every single night. And I'm definitely not going to condemn eating out, because I definitely enjoy, getting takeout every now and then. But it's just something about it, just family coming together over a meal and just loving spending time together. And it's just not something you can replicate if you're not focused on actually preparing meals. So that's an area where I've really learned to love and embrace even more, is just cooking from scratch, which is something I did before becoming a wife and in pregnancy. I loved cooking, but I just feel like God has highlighted to me, like, it's really such a gift to be able to provide this for my family. And not only that, but to also enjoy it as well. And so, yeah, those are just some of the things, some of the priorities that have really shifted since having my first baby. I've also found that since recently, my husband got a new job and he works really early in the morning. And, before this, it was usually our evenings just look like us relaxing on the couch together and maybe watching a movie and, just spending time with each other, which was great. But I find now that he has to get up very early in the morning and he goes to bed a lot earlier, that the nighttime is really where I flourish. Like, as far as being productive goes, I mean, I definitely like to be productive during the day as well, but it's just something about the nighttime for me where it's just peace and quiet, and baby girl is sleeping, and I can just focus in on future business endeavors, cleaning up around the kitchen, doing any tasks that are like quick, maybe that I wasn't able to get to during the day, maybe preparing some sourdough, things of that nature. So definitely the pace has been changing. This season looks a lot different, and I'm just very grateful. So my channel going forward, I don't want to breed any confusion on my channel. And I even felt at one point, maybe I should just start a whole entire different channel. And I actually did for fitness, but I am back, and Lord willing, I'm here to stay. The focus on my channel will be homemaking, baking, cooking, just motherhood, lifestyle, slow living in just a hectic, busy world, and things of that nature. I'll be just taking you guys along with me as I just kind of highlight realistic rhythms as a busy mom and a wife and a toddler running around. Life definitely doesn't slow down. And, I know that I have to keep up, but also give myself grace in those areas, and also just learn. Like, I'm constantly in a state of learning and growing and building skills that the Lord has given me to refine. And so it's just honestly just a beautiful process. And I definitely want to take you guys along with me on this journey. I feel like one of the biggest things that the Lord has been teaching me in this season is just to slow down ultimately. And I feel like that's where homemaking for me really just gets me grounded in this regard of just slowing down the pace, taking it one step at a time, and just realizing that building slowly and intentionally is actually what's going to lead to greater success than just trying to get this success overnight, which is kind of where I felt myself going at one point in time. That means baking more intentionally and just preparing for what the Lord has next for me. So if you found yourself craving just a more slow, intentional approach to homemaking, then I just want to let you know that you are welcome here. I definitely appreciate you tuning in and spending a little bit of time with me as I just got things done around the house. I got some baking done. As you could see earlier, I did overproof a loaf, and I definitely redeemed myself with that other loaf that you'll see at the end. And yeah, I just really appreciate you guys being here. I plan on posting 1 video per week moving forward. So I look forward to seeing you guys and kind of just chatting with you guys on the next one.